Massive transfer twist as Rangers chase a Premier League goalkeeper. Shock leaks out of Ibrox as two key strikers vanish from training amid rising exit rumours. Ange bizarrely backs Rangers in Europe, warning Panathinaikos to brace themselves for a storm, and a fan favourite looks set to walk away with a Dutch return nearly sealed. It's all kicking off, and you won't believe how this could reshape Rangers' summer. Right, here's the latest twist in the transfer saga that's turned into a proper soap opera just in time for the season's opening act. It looked like Rangers had wrapped up the signing of JD Gassama from the financial disaster zone that is Sheffield Wednesday. The 21-year-old winger, PSG Academy graduate no less, had even been snapped wearing the new red Umbro training top, looking like he'd already swapped Hillsborough for Ibrox. But now, the move's hit a brick wall and it's got nothing to do with anything happening in Glasgow. The deal was agreed, everything seemed locked in, but Sheffield Wednesday's hierarchy, if you can call it that, given the chaos at the club, are now having second thoughts. Apparently, despite the fact they're under a transfer embargo, owe wages, and are swimming in tax issues, they're suddenly unsure about cashing in on a player who could actually bring them a bit of much-needed stability. And here's the thing, letting Gassama go would have likely helped plug some holes in that financial black hole. His sale could have softened the damage, yet they might pull the plug. The mind boggles. From a Rangers perspective, this would be the first knock to the momentum of new owners Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers enterprises. They've come in like a thunderstorm backing Russell Martin with 7 signings already. Gassama was set to be the 8th, filling the void left by Haji and Tom Lawrence on the right flank. And what a fit he would have been. Direct, technically sharp, and just the sort of young player to thrive at Ibrox. But here we are. A leaked selfie, a done deal in the eyes of most media outlets, and yet Sheffield Wednesday might torpedo it all because their own internal circus can't get its act together. Let's be honest, Wednesday are a club teetering on collapse under Chan Siri. Unpaid wages, managerial confusion, and now a £100 million price tag on a club relegated to League One. It's a comedy if it weren't so tragic. And look, this still isn't dead in the water. If Wednesday's situation worsens, and let's be real, there's every chance it will, Gassama could yet walk for free. It wouldn't be the first time a player slipped through the cracks of financial mismanagement, but you've got to ask yourself, if a young player like Gassama wants to come to Ibrox, has agreed terms, has worn the shirt, and his club are in freefall, why on earth are we even having this conversation? If Gassama doesn't arrive because of Sheffield Wednesday's complete mess, should Rangers simply walk away and never deal with that shambles of a club again? Or should we play the long game and pick them apart, one asset at a time, until they crumble? Robin Pröpper's time at Ibrox looks like it's coming to a quiet, uneventful end, the kind that barely leaves a ripple, never mind a wave. FC Twente are licking their lips at the thought of welcoming the 31-year-old centre-back back home. And by all accounts, it's just a matter of time before it's made official. You'll remember Rangers picked him up just last summer, but let's be honest, it's been a pretty underwhelming chapter. 1.5 million euros was the reported fee agreed between the clubs, which translates to just under £1,300,000. Now, with Russell Martin putting his stamp on the squad and the club already making 7 signings, there's no place left for a player who never quite made himself essential. Twente's manager Joseph Oosting and their technical director Jan Stroyer have been very public in their courting of Pröpper. They've made it crystal clear they want him, and their supporters are absolutely buzzing about his potential return. It's like a wee romance rekindled, only this time there's no real heartbreak for you. From Rangers' side, it looks like the green light's been given. It's all down to the player now. Does he stay and fight for a place he never really held, or Does he go back to the comfort of the Eredivisie, where he knows he's wanted? The Dutch press seem to think the decision's already been made and that Pröpper's heading for the exit. Let's not sugarcoat it. This was a signing that never really felt like it had purpose. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't the standard Rangers require. No fire, no presence, no real sense he was going to dominate the backline or push the club forward. Should Rangers stop wasting time and wages on these sort of short-term, uninspired signings like Pröpper? Or is there still a place for experienced journeymen if they can offer a season or two of stability? Now then, this is where things start to get a wee bit nervy. With Champions League qualifiers fast approaching, Rangers find themselves in a bit of a striker storm, and it's one that could seriously derail Russell Martin's early momentum if it's not sorted fast. Cyriel and Hamza Igamane were both nowhere to be seen during training ahead of the behind-closed doors friendly with Club Brugge. Of course, the rumor mill immediately exploded. Are they off? Is there a bust-up? Are bids already on the table? Well, according to Sky Sports, it's all part of the plan, double sessions and all that jazz. Dezers and Igamane are set to train later, with the main session focusing on the lads expected to play in the match. That's what we're being told anyway. But let's not pretend this doesn't smell a bit fishy. There's strong interest in Igamane, especially from Lille. And word is Rangers could rake in a healthy sum. And Dezers, well, he's still dividing opinion more than any striker we've had in years. He finished as top scorer in Scotland last season with 29 goals and 7 assists across all competitions, yet somehow it always felt like he was one miss away from a mutiny. Here's the real issue. If both go, where does that leave us up front? Light. Worryingly light. We've already lost Danilo to injury for the foreseeable, and relying on new arrivals to hit the ground running in Europe is a dangerous gamble. We're talking about Champions League qualifiers, not some kickabout at Dumbarton. Martin needs a goal scorer, and he needs one yesterday. If Dezers and Igamane are off, then their replacements must be ready to deliver immediately, because if we sleepwalk into Europe without firepower, we'll be waking up to a nightmare. Should Rangers cash in on both Dezers and Igamane while the money's good, or is flogging your top scorer and your most promising forward weeks before Champions League qualifiers complete madness? Would you believe it? Ange Postecoglou. That Ange throwing a bit of unexpected praise Rangers' way ahead of the Champions League qualifier against Panathinaikos. You couldn't make it up. The former Celtic boss, now lounging in the sunshine of Greece after being binned by Spurs, even after winning a European trophy, which says a lot about that circus down in London, has warned the Greeks not to underestimate Rangers in Europe. A rare moment of clarity from a man who once spent his time preaching the Parkhead gospel. And speaking at a Super League event in Athens, Ange acknowledged what you and I already know. Rangers are built differently when it comes to Europe. Whether it's Braga, Dortmund, Leipzig, or the rest, Rangers have consistently punched above their weight on the continental stage. And while he couldn't resist slipping in a cheeky wee comment about Celtic being ahead in the league, even Postecoglou can't deny it. Rangers in Europe are a beast not to be taken lightly now. Panathinaikos are clearly rattled already, rejecting an £8.5 million offer for fullback Georgos Vianidis from Sporting Lisbon because they don't want to weaken the squad before facing Rangers. That says everything. They're bricking it. You don't turn down that kind of cash in Greece unless you're seriously worried about what's coming. The first leg at Ibrox is going to be a battle, the return in Athens, a cauldron. But this is what Rangers live for, under the lights, backs against the wall, and the rest of Europe watching. How does it feel to hear a former Celtic manager openly admit Rangers are the bigger threat in Europe? And do you think the Greeks are right to fear Ibrox more than they fear losing millions on their best player? Well, now, here's another twist in Rangers' search for a new number one, Carl Rushworth. The Brighton goalkeeper we've had our eye on has just been offered a fresh contract by the Seagulls. A classic move, isn't it? The moment interest starts heating up, they suddenly remember he exists. At 24, Rushworth's been something of a nomad since joining Brighton from Halifax back in 2019. He's yet to play a single first-team minute for them, instead being farmed out on loan across the EFL like a lad on a gap year. Walsall, Lincoln, Swansea, Hull. But here's the thing, he's racked up over 100 appearances and looked steady, confident, and maturing fast. Now, Rangers have been linked alongside a handful of championship clubs, but if Brighton are offering him a new deal despite having him tied up until 2027, you've got to ask, are they protecting their asset for a proper fee, or are they genuinely looking to give him a shot? Because let's be honest, if he signs that deal, we're likely priced out. And that would be a shame because he fits the mold. Young, English, tons of experience already, and crucially, a point to prove, exactly the type of keeper that could thrive at Ibrox under pressure, with Jack Butland's future always hanging on a thread, thanks to English vultures sniffing about. It makes sense for Rangers to be proactive, but this is now a waiting game. If Rushworth turns down Brighton's offer, we're in with a real shout. If he signs, he'll cost us far more than he's worth on paper. Should Rangers splash the cash on a keeper like Rushworth with no top-flight minutes under his belt, or is chasing another English backup just more proof that we've failed to prepare for life after Butland? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.